welcome you to the growth strategy Q&A. That's the last segment of this series. I can already see the most popular question, the first out of 11 question that we are going to answer tonight is, what is the difference for the growth marketing strategy between B2B and B2C models? So I'm guessing lots of you who are in B2C are wondering, like, how's this whole case study been relevant for us here in the B2C land? Because the case study was very heavily in B2B. You're lucky. B2B marketing has become very, very much like B2C marketing. It has become much more personal. But there are some key differences. The main difference is, as I mentioned at the very beginning when I entered the case study, is customer lifetime value. So it's such a big difference if a customer is worth like €5 to you in a mobile app scenario versus a high-end B2B case with €50,000 per customer that you generate. So what's the difference? You can invest much more time and love in establishing the trust and relationship with the B2B customer worth €50,000. It's a bit sad, but it's true. You simply can't send out baskets full of champagne to your €5 in-app purchase customers on your mobile app. But the principles are the same. For B2C and for B2B, you want to create a funnel, get people aware of your business, give them a very easy way to get to know you, which we usually call a lead magnet or a free access, free trial, and then deserve their trust and nurture that lead so that they want to purchase your product. That is fundamentally that funnel perspective, or that lead nurturing that gets them into the core more and more and more. That perspective, that is always true. What is also different are, of course, the marketing channels that we look into. So on B2C, it's much more, it's absolutely reasonable to go for Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat ads. You can even have a big chance, if you're in a popular B2C niche, to go completely organic or even viral. Yeah, that's just not happening on B2B segments. For B2B, the main traffic sources might be cold calls, might be LinkedIn, might be mail jobs. Yeah, and that's where I see the difference. You can also in B2B afford more investment into a really good CRM. Let's say you can easily afford a HubSpot or an Active Campaign. In B2C, you have to think about, what is the cheapest CRM I can get where I can still send out emails with my 10,000 customers that I add every quarter. Yeah, that's more that idea. So those are the main differences, but I have seen that the tactics have grown more and more close together over the past few years, definitely. So that was the first question. Now, next question. Which books would I recommend about growth strategy? So let me go to my library and pick some for you. All right, so the first book I would recommend is Hacking Growth by Sean Ellis. He's the founder of growthhackers.com. He kind of made the term growth hacking popular. And he was here in Cologne, and I went to one of his workshops, and it was so nice to sign this copy. And he read, like, keep pushing the hacking growth approach. And I hope I really stand to that. So that is the first book, Hacking Growth. It lays out the fundamentals. It's also very good for big companies. For medium-sized companies, and not just for marketing, it's the book Scaling Up. It goes way beyond marketing. It is a complete handbook that focuses on the 4 parts, like people, strategy, execution, and cash. You can see it down here. And even though this is written by consultants, I've never seen such a detailed, concrete manual to scaling up businesses. It's absolutely fascinating. The last one, .com Secrets, and the other books by Russell Brunson. Russell Brunson is the marketer I would pay most for to learn from personally. By easily, he's the founder of a SaaS software called ClickFunnels. Not a huge fan of that one, but his concepts and ideas and his experience is absolutely, it's hard to compete with somebody who can look at hundreds of thousands of funnels within their own software and see how they are working. To learn from that kind of guy, go for that. All right. Hope that answers your questions. If you have cool book recommendations, I would love to hear them in the comments. Yeah, so leave them in the comments. What books have helped you to improve your growth strategy? The next one. So what would you recommend for smaller businesses with a limited know-how and budget regarding growth strategy? How to start, how to build? Thank you. I would suggest go to the first part of this video segment about growth strategy and just go for each step that I just mentioned in the last 4 segments. I'm serious. That was my outcome. My goal to make it very transparent on how to go for it, paid and non-paid, if I would just start from scratch. So as I said, I would define a very clear growth goal where you want to be in 3 and 6 months. Then I would draft a very basic funnel that needs to have a traffic source, which can be organic. If you're in B2B, it's LinkedIn easily. If you're in B2C, go for Instagram, for example. Then you need a website, for example, in WordPress, that offers people something that they really value and that qualifies them to be a potential customer of yours. And then you nurture those people with an email sequence, for example, and then invite them to buy your product. That's it. And then you improve this process and make it better and better and better on a weekly basis. Cool. Next question is, how does a funnel for a customized B2B product focus on customer input look like? Customer software development. Custom software development. Okay, very good. So we are essentially talking about a software agency that is building custom software for other companies. Yeah, so definitely clearly a B2B product. In general, high value. Most software starts like from 10, 15K to 150K, like in that region. So your biggest problem is that there are so many of those agencies out there and you have to stand out. So I would focus on something that most software companies just don't do, which is excellent content marketing. Think about who's your core audience, what problems do you solve for them, and how can you put that into videos and articles and posters and do that. If you want a recommendation for a company who's doing that excellently in the IT base realm, it's leanix.net. Yeah, check them out. They have fantastic content marketing. It's a startup here from Bonn, Germany. And I really appreciate their demand generation efforts. We have one of the past meetups recorded with them. I think actually even 2. Yeah, one with their VP of marketing and one with a woman actually executing their LinkedIn strategy. I learned so much in that one. All right. So the next question, is there a way to protect the LinkedIn content that is getting shared by coworkers who could possibly leave the company in the future? Would I worry about that? That is the bigger question. Yes, I see that. And in the next meetup, we are going to talk exactly about that. I think like 2 or 3 meetups ago, we talked about LinkedIn content magic. And this is why I already discussed that topic, that when you build up a team of people on LinkedIn, one of the members might leave and take all of the followers and content away with them. And there is no way to protect yourself, maybe by putting it into a contract, but why would you? Yeah, they are still a post out there for you, essentially making you look good. by having their reach on their profile with the content that you provided there. There's nothing also that keeps you from resharing the most valuable content pieces again on new team member profiles. There is nothing against repurposing content that has been shared in the past. If it's still valuable, you can still share it. So I personally try not to worry about that point. I am rather more interested in building up more people in my team to become LinkedIn influencers. How would you set up a growth marketing strategy for just one department, online marketing, within an advertising agency? If I were you, I would probably go into like a document, don't create content marketing strategy. Document, don't create is a saying by Gary Vee. It essentially says like, show what you're doing all day. Because you are professional online marketers, you have a shit ton of case studies. You have to anonymize them as well, of course. Yeah, if you want to share some of it, or you have to ask your clients if they are willing to share their information with the public, which might be a help for them. But you need to get what you are doing on a day-to-day basis out there. You are formulating online marketing strategies probably on a weekly basis. Where am I seeing that online? Where can I discover that? These meetups, local meetups or live streams are just that. I'm documenting what I'm doing anyways. I put this into a nice presentation, split them up in 4 parts plus a Q&A, and I make that visible for the world to see and challenge my process. Yeah, I can get good comments, I can bad comments, I can learn so much from that. So that's how I would go about that. And then I would do the following. You have this content basis now, and now you start promoting it with advertising. Could be on LinkedIn, could be on Facebook. Facebook is still very effective for B2B. And I would take a part of the revenue that comes in through this content plus promotion funnel, let's say 20% of the revenue or the profit of the project that came through that, and put that on top of your base advertising budget. And then you will automatically grow that budget and your fame and glory. Cool. All right, let's answer the next question. How do you set goals to increase reach? Okay, reach has a couple of components. Impressions, so I expect you're talking about paid reach, maybe you're talking about organic, but let's assume both. So you have impressions, how many times was your content seen? And reach is usually how many people have seen your content, which results into frequency. How many times have the people you have reached seen any piece of your content? So those are things. Then I would actually be more interested in, you have the absolute numbers now, reach, impressions, frequency. But now what is your engagement rate? How many people actually engage with your content in like as a percentage? And all of the big platforms usually provide that kind of engagement rate with you as a click-through rate, as a comment rate, stuff like that. That is much more interesting, to create content that actually causes engagement, which increases your reach. Imagine you're the owner of Facebook or LinkedIn. Which content are you giving more reach? The one that people engage with, or the content that people find boring and don't engage with? So I would focus on what creates reach. And engagement is one of the core components of what actually creates reach. Then I want to compare, how much does reach cost me on the paid platforms? What is the cost to reach 1,000 people? What is the cost per engagement, for example? Those two factors. And one platform that fascinates me no end at the moment in terms of cost per reach is Pinterest. It's like 1 to 2 euros to reach 1,000 people. That is not trash traffic as on most native advertising platforms. On native advertising platforms like recommended articles, you get that prices, but you get trash traffic. On Pinterest, the quality of the traffic is as good as Facebook and Instagram, and I'm super surprised by that. So if you have a demographic that fits into the Pinterest audience, I would definitely take a look there. So you can see I'm looking at the absolute numbers and I'm looking at the causes of reach and then at the price of reach. This is how I think about setting goals. So I would set a goal like I want to increase my reach by X% or X thousand of people I reach per month. I want to have at least an engagement rate of X%, and I don't want to spend more than X euro to earn that reach. That's my answer to that question. Next question is, let me translate on the fly. This is German. On the last spreadsheet with the leads and the click-through rate, etc., how would you apply that to LinkedIn and Google Ads? So because I just said ad spend, I do exactly what you said. I just have this one column that says like total ad spend, but below that I split all of the ad spends by funnel and the click-through rate and the CPC per channel. So I can see what is my cost, even like the cost per lead. Like comparing, for example, LinkedIn and Google Ads in terms of cost per leads, it's like it has nothing to do with each other. So I need to know which of the channels and which campaigns even within that channel are providing a profitable cost per lead. The problem with that is that it gets increasingly complex. So try to keep the weekly performance review as simple as possible by, for example, just splitting the ad budget by the channels and leave the detailed analysis within the advertising tool. Look at it in Google Analytics or Facebook Analytics and check out for each campaign what is the CPC, the click-through rate, the cost per lead, the cost per sale, the return of advertising spend. You can never go as deep as you need to in a spreadsheet. So keep that as simple as possible. Let's go for another live translation. I would be interested in how far like generating leads of app installs or registrations are different, like in growth marketing. App installs compared to registrations. The biggest difference for me is that for app installs and registrations, you have to go for the one-shot kill. People like it or not. You cannot afford to have them jump through too many hoops, otherwise they become too expensive. With a B2B lead gen, you can have like 20 touch points, until they finally become a lead. You can send them 20 emails, have them in your CRM for a year, nurture them, and then they become customers at some point. That is the biggest difference. For apps, you have to go for one-shot kills. Your ads and your content needs to be so awesome that people say, bam, I just want to go for it. I want to install that app. I want to register for it. And that also means that much more than in B2B land, your app installs and registration needs to be smooth AF. If there is any inconvenience, a customer will always give you the finger and say, no, I can spend my time somewhere else. While on the B2B lead gen side, they are much more forgiving. B2B customers are used to work with clunky software, and they're more patient and they have a much higher commitment to make towards you. So they invest more time in making a decision. That's the biggest difference. How would you set up the weekly plan for companies that also have to calculate their time to fulfill the sales next to ad spend? Yes, that's a really tough one. To be honest, I don't. I try to ignore the cost of personnel for some time. Once I'm profitable in the ad region while ignoring the cost for the salespeople, except if it's like a commission thing. If it's sales for commission, I add that in immediately. But if you are just being paid month by month fixed salary, I try to ignore that for a while, which is wrong, I know, but it's practical. And I try to make the advertising spend profitable. Then I start to worry about calculating all kinds of shit, like sales, like the office space, like buying software to fulfill it, by mistakes, by returns. I try to add that once I've proven that my paid advertising channel is already profitable. Which tools would you recommend to use? I had a complete meetup all about tools that you can find here. Here you have a complete meetup all about the tools that you would use. In terms of the growth strategy, you need a good notepad, you need a Trello board or something similar to that, and you need your mind. That is the most important tool. If you're talking about software, that's the meetup you want to watch. What tools do you use for creating this weekly list? Oh, I use Google Docs in general. If you don't have Google Docs, you usually have access to some Microsoft spreadsheet madness. Go for that. But I prefer if you mean the weekly list, the spreadsheet, I use Google Docs. If you mean the Kanban board, yeah, for tracking the ideas, priorities, and active tasks, I use Trello or Asana. Thank you all. Bye-bye.